Right, our next session here is Mr. Mark Geeves of Color Logic fame. Mark, you there?
Hello.
All right, so Mark, we've been a partner with for a while. I like to think of Mark as the LinkedIn network personified. There's nobody he does not know or has not worked with around the world in design and printing. So Mark, the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you for being here. It's sort of funny when Rob called me and said, "Hey, we're doing this event," and I was like, "Oh, wow!" And then he said, "Well, what's going to be big?" He goes, "Print to finish." I go, "Well, we do design." And so today, what I'm going to do is, if this is my home office. By the way, this has been my home office for 14 years, and this is how it normally looks. And I was really happy when Rob says he didn't, we were talking about doing a PowerPoint or anything else. He says, "Mark, maybe you could show the samples of what's possible." So first of all, my name is Mark Geeves. I'm the Director of Sales and Marketing for Color Logic. Color Logic specializes in embellishment software for designers to print. Yes, so not just print to finish, but actually from finish back to design. So we take it all into account. We've been a partner with ScanDecor for about 3 years now. In fact, I met John over at an event at one of our strategic partners. And what I was really impressed about is I told him what we were doing, and he says, "Wow, you know what? That could be of interest to our clients." And I was like, "Okay." And he got it right away. He says that could save him money. It could help him get to market faster, et cetera. So what we do at Color Logic is we take the platforms that are developed by ScanDecor, by Xerox, by HP, by Ricoh, and what we try to do is help them produce samples that just wow people, right? Just make it stand out. So I thought, ScanDecor, how much will I spend time on talking about sleeking, et cetera? They said, "No, Mark, we want you to talk about all the printing processes you support." So when we started the company 11 years ago, and by the way, think back, 2008, 2009, zero sales, self-funded company, almost as bad, not as bad as it is now, but it's quite interesting we lived through that. But our goal every day is we get up and say, how can we take paper, put silver and CMYK ink, and do these type of effects on it? That's one thing we do. The other thing is we take metallic board or foil and turn it into this. And so today, what I'm going to do is, rather than doing a commercial or tell you about Color Logic, my goal is really to show you samples that give you ideas. Because I can tell you this, what you need to do today is do something. And we're in the print industry. All print starts at design and with design. So if designers don't know what's possible, if the marketing people do not know what's possible, what happens? Nothing. So the only thing I can tell you from all this that I hope I show you and you get an idea about is I hope you understand, print something, do something. Because you know what, before COVID, how difficult was it getting meetings with clients, right? Very difficult. And by the way, since we're in print, first impressions are great. I do presentations all the time, and I love to have samples because I think that's important. So when you first meet someone in person, business-wise, what do? We exchange the business card. So those of you, when you're looking at your business card right now, look at it. Does it elevate a conversation? Does it tell your clients what you can do different for them? Not for you, but what you can do different for them. Because everything we do at Color Logic, when we wake up, we think about how can we help take technology developed by our partners, whether it be coatings, inks, obviously finishing equipment, and digital presses or conventional presses, and how can we help them differentiate it? How can we add wow factor, make it economical, and most importantly, reduce time to market? So if you've ever met me, these are my business cards. Rob, can you see those pretty well in the video?
Yeah, they look great, Mark.
Okay,
it almost looks like there's some metallic effects there or something.
There might be. I have 42 versions of my business card, and some people go, "Why?" I said, "Why not?" Because you know what? I'm 60 years old. I won't even tell you the history of what I've been through, but I'm 60 years old. Most brands are not targeting me. They're targeting my kids and younger. 2020 will be remembered for a lot of reasons. But one thing we've all forgot a little bit about is this is the year that us baby boomers, we're the minority in terms of we're not the key target markets. It's the millennials and the Gen X's that everybody's catering to. So I'm not the target anymore, by the way. So I have to do something that's different. I remember a friend of mine who's in the packaging industry says, Mark, it's great that you got good technology because you look terrible. You should get a 29-year-old guy to go to New York and start selling in the packaging market. He'd do great. So, you know, that's the way it goes. So to give you an example of this, this is one of our partners, a little company called HP. They sell presses, a variety of presses. There's their business card. Guess what they're using on the back? And there's a gentleman over at Stafford Printing, Howard Owens. Howard's great. He has 4 or 5 different type of business cards. So when he goes into his accounts, rather than presenting a business card, he has different printing processes. He presents those business cards to the client and lets them choose, because that gives them an indication of maybe what they're interested in. And it starts the conversation, not about he's a quality printer. Oh, by the way, usually when I'm in a meeting, I always ask people, how many of you are a quality printer? How many of you got great service, et cetera, et cetera? Guess what? That's the norm anymore. 2009, 2010 eliminated all those kind of people that were just making it. So you got to do things that are different. And that's how he starts off the conversation. So now here we are. We can't even get the meetings hardly, right? So how do you get into an account? So I have lots of samples. I got, what'd you say, 2 hours, Rob?
At least.
So, by the way, when we started the company, I was so happy, you know, self-funded. So that's our envelope, beautiful envelope, right? That white one. And we did this metallic label. And I remember this woman coming up to me at a show and she says, Mark, loved your samples. Your envelope sucks. It does not represent what the samples could do. So that one was from Western States envelope. This is my envelope. Not mine, this is our company. This is what we send out when people ask us for samples. Do you think they remember us? That's the key. Look at your business card right now. I'm going to go back to that. I bet you it doesn't represent what you have capabilities of in your printing process. And if that's what you're sending your salespeople out with, you're not giving them the right sales tools. Not saying it has to be this crazy, but do something that's different. By the way, after I'm done, my office is going to be a mess, so I throw it underneath here anyway. By the way, when I have to send out a white envelope or a larger format thing, this is what I do. I put a label on the back, right? People remember this. I've never had anybody lose my samples. In fact, it doesn't mean they buy right away, but this is what I send out to brands. This is what I send out to printers. By the way, we do a push-pull strategy. Yes, we have licensed printers around the world. In fact, 80% of our business is outside the United States. And also, what Waldo was talking about, we limit our markets. We try to. We're not just in commercial print. We're not just in packaging. We're not just in labels. We're not just in large format. We're not just in gravure. So we support every printing process that has silver ink plus CMYK, or a foil with CMYK on a white, or a metallic substrate with white plus CMYK. So we have a lot of partners. So anyway, that's what I do when I do a large envelope. This is one of our customers. By the way, if you notice, I'm not going to talk much about color logic. I am going to tell you a few things about us, but our goal today, my goal anyway, is to tell you, do something. Help your sales team. Don't just put the pressure on them and say, sell more, make more calls. Do something that they're going to spend that effort that the client remembers them when they are ready to open. So anyway, this is an envelope. Again, silver ink, beautiful gold. And what this company does a great job of is finishing. The coatings that these people use, you can't feel this, but it's a great coating. That's their envelope. And credibility. This is their case study. We did a case study on them. They're the ones that printed it in metallic, and that gives you credibility, right? So it's very important that when you're trying to reach out to somebody, whether it be person or by mail, you got to have something in there about your company. So many printers are involved in marketing campaigns, but most of you, I'm sorry, I'm at my age, I got more road behind me than in front of me. So I'm not too sensitive about this because I do things wrong all the time. But most printers don't think about credibility. Post things you've done and deliver it. Now, by the way, fewer people read than ever, but this is all done so it stands out, so people actually open it. Wallace Carlson does a great job. And look what they did on the back with the coating, right? Sweet. I mean, they do some super stuff. So, coming back, what is Color Logic? We're a color communication system for metallics. So, we take a silver ink and we allow our licensed printers to create 250 metallic colors with one ink. Why? Because there was no system out there that worked. So we allow our customers produce this themselves. Our real skill is for each of those colors, and this will be a little bit different for you to see, but we create these effects. So think about that. For each color, I can do all these different effects, and we do this at the design stage. Why I'm saying this is everything I'm going to show you, all the embellishment was done at the design stage, utilizing what's possible, whether it be with finishing equipment or with inks. And the other thing is we now have QR codes that show you how each of these were done. And that links it. So you got to drive something. So rather than just giving somebody a piece of paper, you got to have them go do something, right? And that gets them back to our website. By the way, this is silver ink, and if you look at that, we also do golds. So this is an example of those effects being used. So this is what we call our test form page. This is something that I'm going to show you that our Scandagore and some other people, this is what we allow you to print so you can see what's possible off your press. Coming back to it, guess what? Same process for metallic substrates. So that's one metallic substrate. And with Scandagore, which I'm going to show in a second, that's one foil. Think about this, one foil and you have 250 foil or metallic colors that you can deliver for your client. And more importantly, again, you can start to do these kind of effects. This is the kind of thing you're going to see. I'm going to show you some stuff off Scandagore, but look at those, right? This is a rainbow holographic. This is what gets people excited, right? Now, I'm going to be honest with you as usual. Our customers use us as the lead. A majority of their business is still CMYK, but 80% of the customers I know that I've dealt with personally tell me, Mark, we lead with you and we don't print your stuff all the time, but it's better than going in and saying, oh, we're a quality printer, this or that. But like Waldo said, do something, let them see this. And this is like planting seeds about what could happen in the future. Another thing that happens to me, most of you printers say to me, we don't do design. Okay, somebody does. There is nothing you've printed that a designer didn't have something to do with, period. So if you can help the designer, or you can help the agency, or the internal marketing department do things different, that's what we do. We educate, we provide the tools and the training to help people, what we call drive demand for their brand. And that's what it's about. It's not about buying innovation. Like you could buy something from Scandagore, but if you don't produce any samples, guess what happens? Nothing. Or the adoption rate is so slow, you keep asking, well, why did we do that? So what you got to do is you've got to drive the demand. You can't sit there and wait for it. Those days are over, period. They will not come back like that. I got sort of excited though when they're talking about the relaunch and solo, you know, wingman, all the fun stuff. Is because this is our new thing that we did. When we ran into COVID, my team looked at me and said, what are we going to do? I said, We're going to figure out what our customers are going to need when they're ready to get back out there. We don't know when, because we have to do it not only by state in the US, but it's also by country. So this is our relaunch program, and I thought we should do a poster. How's that look on the video?
That looks awesome, Mark.
Yeah.
That's great.
So we're going to do a relaunch program. We're going to announce that pretty soon. This is the first time these have ever been seen. You had a company on yesterday, Kernow, correct? Dan?
Right.
This is his substrate, metallic substrate. But look at that, right? And these are going to be a limited edition posters. And that's the goal, right? We're all partners. ScanDecor is a great partner for us. What I love about them is what they're doing here today. And I'm not blowing smoke. Really, they're doing something. They're trying to help their clients do something. And coming back to where you had the lieutenant, you know, it's a team effort to get this. The way I came up with this thought process, I love space. I love space. They wouldn't let me in astronaut camp because they only took 14-year-olds, and I was 55 when I found out about it. So they wouldn't let me in. My wife tried. But what happens is I was watching SpaceX launch, and wasn't that amazing? And you think about that captain in the cockpit, what he went up in, right? And what he went up the previously, a few years ago. I mean, he went from driving a Buick to a Tesla, right? And it really showed that design with technology works. It just doesn't have to be technology. It just has to be innovation. It can look good doing it. So that's the reason I came up with this whole thing, because we're probably one of the few industries that we just tell designers, oh, don't worry, give us the file, we'll take care of it. You don't build buildings, you don't build cars, you don't build any of these things and tell people that. So that's the foundation of what we do. And now I want to show you a few samples. So this is one of our clients. By the way, we call on brands to drive demand to our printers. So Audis used us in several of their books. I mean, look at that, right? And they're just looking at it. And our printers get the business because of it. And I'm not disappearing on you, I just got a lot of samples. Hey, we did the front covers of magazines. We do Ink magazine quite often when they do the metallics. I love this. When Legos came out, right, with the 007, so that's color logic. And why do they do this? It's because these brands want to stand out. Look at this front cover here, right? Now, this is all process. This is metallic ink in the background. But by doing the design this way, it just stood out. Large volume of units there. So my goal is always to do this. It's time to rethink what you're doing and how you're getting to market. So this is done with metallic with white plus CMYK. But look at those, how it turns out. It's incredible. So now the swatch books, or the test forms, is that way. What I want to show you now a little bit is our swatch book. So this is the layout. So rather than printing those flat sheets, we actually give you a layout so you can actually print this out on your press. So we actually basically let you produce your own Pantone book. 250 metallic colors that are unique to your printing process, because it's based on your substrate, your inks, and your coatings or your lamination. So that's metallic. This is with silver ink. Yeah, this is brighter, bolder, does more, but that's silver ink too. So we have one system that works both ways. And for those of you who can't see because you're old like I am, we can also do it in large format. This is done on the Kernow material, right? Now, where I got this idea was, look at this poster behind me, right? This is metallic vinyl, and then it's laminated to material to hang. My wife does interior painting. And it's, you know, you take these little swatches and you try to hold it up and you go, ah. So what she always does is buy a little pint of paint or quart pint, and she'll paint up a big area. And so that's what you have to do. So we design these swatch books for our large format clients. Plus, at trade shows, nobody steals them because they're too big and we can catch them before they run away. I'm really happy about this. This is what we do in large format. This is a company called AccuFlex. Dog food packaging, potato chips, all that type of stuff. So this is a foil substrate, just like, sort of like what we do with the ScanDecor, right? It's a foil. So we're taking that one foil and producing these 250 colors. Now, when Tom at AccuFlex printed this, he printed it this way. Why? Be bold, stand out. When you get this in the mail and you unroll it, you go, wow, look at that. And you start showing designers this, guess what they do? Wow, they start thinking. They start going, wow, I didn't know that was possible. And again, same printing process. For each of those colors, we can do all these effects. So Tom just printed the charts out big. Why? Because he has an HP 20,000. And these are our test form. We do the test form because that way we can show it to anybody. You don't have to worry about taking a job you did for the customer's competitor. You can walk in and show them this and say, hey, look what you can do with the printing technology you've invested in. And this is our skill, and this is how to create that white separation. So again, our goal again though, is if you walk in with these kind of samples, that's great because here's what the finished product looks like. That's what it's all about. So it's a process. It's not a guesswork. We're predictable. We go from design to finished product through the finishing system, and we can tell you how it's going to look predictably with all the effects. And by the way, we take into account, I don't know if this will actually come through, but we actually do, one of these is a matte and the other one is a gloss. So it takes that into account with our system. So now those lovely friends of ours over at ScanDecor, I called up and said to Rob, I said, I'm running out of samples. So I haven't had a chance to cut these down, but this is the ScanDecor swatch book. Again, one foil, 250 metallic foil colors. Keeps your inventory down. Also, it's based on your CMYK of your press that allows you. We actually do 25 gold and bronzes too, by the way, with our system. And that's the foil itself. So again, that's the color communication system. And that's ScanDecor with the test form. I think you've seen these. Look at that, right? You walk into customers and get some ideas. It doesn't mean they're always going to do it, but it's a differentiator, right? And I don't think I need to explain the process, but obviously it's sleeking. So you go black, foil, and folks, look at that, right? That's a leave behind. By the way, so much of print is unforgettable. I gotta tell you, I've seen some great print samples and I look at them and I go, okay, oh, but look at the percent. You know, you want something that when you leave, they don't throw it in the garbage can. And I gotta guarantee you, very few customers ever throw our stuff in the garbage can. In fact, they don't buy right away. Let's be serious. Our goal with that sample when we send it is to get the next appointment, like Bill was saying yesterday. And it might take, used to take 5 or 6 hits before COVID, right? How many is it gonna take now? We just did a project with Disney, right? We usually could send it to one location. Now we had to send samples off to 5 different locations around the world to do the same thing. But look at this off the ScanCore. Look at those samples and those effects. And this is just using the technology you've already invested in, usually. You know what I mean? It's nothing different than adding our software to it. So, by the way, we do cold foil on conventional offset. This is one of our customers, Roar. How many foils would it take, right? It's one. One did that for blister pack. And applications. So there's cold foil. Again, one color. And we do work on other printing processes. So what I did here is I put it as a magnet. Right? I did this on inkjet. Now, the reason I came up with that idea, one of my friends was getting married, and the wedding invitations announcement, this is not them because of Privacy Acts, but this is a magnet, save the date. So we printed on a vinyl, then laminated onto the magnet. In fact, it gave me a better idea. Whenever you're doing trade shows, which I hope they come back, is we actually do our certified printers. So when everybody gets certified with Color Logic, we send them a magnet for put on their press. And at trade shows, we put this so you can find us. So this is what you look for. But again, it's just taking the technology, repurposing it. How am I doing on time, Rob?
Well, we ran you a little late starting, so you're doing fine. We're a couple minutes over, but keep going.
Okay, no problem. Also, when somebody sends us the test forms and we approve them, we send them a certificate back so they can hang it. But look at some of these things that are in here, right? And by the way, if you look up forgery, certificates or graduation diplomas are one of the biggest. We have a customer who just bought an engine that does metallics with white plus MYK plus it does silver. They have 20,000 students, 4,000 some get a diploma every year just for graduating, not to mention other things. They were jobbing that out. So they paid for our software just for the diplomas. By the way, drive demand for the brand. The only thing different here is we do it on a holographic. So if you have a holographic silver foil, then you can get these kind of results. What's nice is we only use silver, and doesn't mean there aren't good gold foils and other colors. It's just we base everything off of silver because it gives us the capability of producing all these colors. Doing something personalized, what Waldo was talking about. This is a new brand customer of ours, Congo Love, right? This is a sticker, and this guy, it's a startup, he'll really launch in December or January. What it does is you can take your app, download it from Congo Love, and you can make a 30-second video, and you can attach this to a present or inside a card, and you can personalize a video to those people. Now, is that something for my mother or my mother-in-law, et cetera? No, but this is what kids love, right? They love videos, personalization. By the way, what I do is everybody who buys a license now, since these guys just released this, I make a personalized video. I put that in our thank you card, by the way, because everybody who buys from us, we send them cards and say, thank you for buying. And we personalize it. It's handwritten. It's handwritten by my wife, who's the president, because my handwriting stinks. Nobody will be able to read it. So, by the way, Christmas is not that far away, so you should start thinking about all your foil needs. Because you know what? People need cards more now than ever. First thing we did when COVID started, we put thinking of you and thank you for being a customer. Cards that anybody could download, anybody could print. So security is another thing. So I hope football comes back. So this is actually a pass that's done with that, and you'll see the paw prints appearing and disappearing. So we work with a lot of people. Claim to fame this year, the last event, major event for sports was the Super Bowl. Those tickets were done with Color Logic in connection with a lot of other security things. I don't have a sample of it at $7,000 a ticket. It was a little bit out of my game. But my son's best friend is a marketing director for the 49ers. So what's he do? He took a picture of that with the field behind it. Thanks. Didn't send me anything else. I could have used something else. Those of you who ever met me, I like to drink a lot. So here I did coasters. I did these on a UV latex machine, and then I domed it on top. So again, you got to get creative. You want things. When I send this off to a customer, guess what? Where does it leave? Right there on their desk, right? And they see it, but it's usable. So think not only about being creative, think about things people can use after you're done. Yes, we do labels. Yes, we do flexible pack. This is our friends at Rico. When you buy a press from Rico in Europe, this is what you receive from them. And inside is a variety of samples, trying to show their clients what's possible. By the way, adding the metallic effects into that, not the design, but the effects took us 60 seconds. So this is what I'm saying to you. Think about doing samples. Think about the customer's application. Think about getting them to think. And I hope we have to start using tickets again at live events, etc. And the last thing I'm going to leave you with, I got so much more, but I want to be courteous of your time. That's our 2019 calendar that was done by our friends at Kernow. Their designer, Sarah, did a beautiful job. Now, they could have saved this year, because if they could have took out March all the way through here, it would have saved on paper. This will be one of those years to remember, let's say, but don't give up. Keep pushing it, like they said earlier from Waldo, because it doesn't go away. And this is what we did last year that my wife loved so much. The key is it's only one metallic substrate with all these colors and effects. What it says, if A, B, C, D, blah, blah, blah equals 1, 2, 3, then knowledge equals 96%. It says here, hard work equals 98%. Attitude, so if you take the letters and the corresponding numbers, is 100%. And I can tell you, that's what we all need right now. We need to keep that attitude positive, because there's so many things we can be doing out there. The development of technology and coatings, lamination, press technology, for those of us who go out and market it correctly, when the time's right for you and your clients, there's so much opportunity. And it's not just about low margin. It doesn't mean everybody's going to print expensive things, but it's like selling donuts, right? You go in, you can buy glazed donuts everywhere, but there's those shops that cater that they sell glazed and they sell the $3 donuts. That's what you want to be. You do not want to be just the commodity printer. You want to be somebody who can provide for your clients through their whole range of products. So I'll stop there, and if there's any questions, how's that, Rob?
That's awesome, Mark. So key takeaway there that I got is do something. That's great. And be more than just a glazed donut. So you're making me hungry with that. But we didn't get any questions in here that you have not answered in your session. So with that, I think we're going to move on, Mark. But anybody that's watching right now, today is going to be a lot about embellishment and specialty effects. And you're going to see a lot of color logic things behind the scenes. So all print starts with design. Thank you very much, Mark. I really appreciate you coming on, and hopefully we see some action out of this.
No problem. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Take care, Mark.